I like a good party, but it's even better if it's a neon one. I'm going to make something you can all make at home from things you have in the kitchen, and it's going to make a bubbling creation. You'll need a plastic cup, some baking powder, some measuring spoons, and some white vinegar. Now, I'm going to pour 12 spoons of vinegar into my cup. These two elements really like each other, even more than I like neon parties. Whoa, look at that bubble and grow. Cool. So what's happening is the solid baking powder and the liquid vinegar are reacting together to produce a gas, and that gas is called carbon dioxide. Now that was good, but I'm going to make it even cooler for my neon science party. And I'm going to add some glow water and some dishwashing liquid to make those bubbles last longer. I made my glow water by soaking neon pen felts in jars of hot water. So there's my dishwashing liquid, vinegar, glow water, some baking powder, and something to put them in. So I'm going to pour 1/4 of a cup of dishwashing liquid in with 1/4 of a cup of vinegar and 1/2 a cup of my glow water. Don't put the baking soda in yet, though, until you're under the UV lights. Here we go. Ooh. 3, 2, 1, lights on. Okay, now for my final touch, some phase fairy dust. It's actually laundry powder. But laundry powder has whiteners in it, and they glow in the dark too, because they're also phosphors. Now it's time for a montage. Neon
I am so hot today. I don't normally feel this hot when I'm wearing other coloured clothes. I wonder if the different clothes you wear can make you feel hotter or cooler depending on their colour. It's time for an experiment to investigate. Science is all about investigation, so I'm going to lay out a whole rainbow of different coloured T-shirts in the sun with thermometers wrapped up inside them and see if some of the colours warm up more than others. You can do this at home too if you like. All you're going to need are some different coloured T-shirts. I've got 5 different colours here. And then some thermometers, as many thermometers as you have T-shirts. You'll also need a clock, a marker, and some cardboard to write down the temperatures. So the first step is to lay all your T-shirts out in the sun about equal distance apart. Great. Your next step is to write down the air temperature shown on the thermometer and to check that it's the same on all 5. And I can see it's 22 degrees. The next step is to take each thermometer and wrap it up in the shirt to trap the heat. Well, now all you've got to do is wait a while.
The Outback is a wild and wonderful place, but there is one major and pretty obvious difference, and it's not my hat. It's the red sand, which is a lot different to the sand on our beaches. But why is it red? I'm in Broken Hill, which is in the heart of Outback, New South Wales. Soils and sands are actually rocks that have broken down over time because of wind, water, heat, and chemical reactions. It gets really hot in Australia and even more so in the Australian outback, like where I am now. It can get up to temperatures of 45 degrees. When it's this hot, chemical weathering is common, which is the breakdown of rocks. Sand has different colours due to either the mineral composition of the grain or the coating on the outside of the grain. The three main colours are black from organic matter, white from silicates and salt, and red, which is from aluminium oxide and iron. It's the same mineral that makes our blood red and your bike rust when it's left outside. The red sand beneath my feet might look really, really dry now, but this was the biggest inland sea in the world! The red dirt of the outback was left behind when this massive inland sea, which took up more than half of Australia, dried up, and then the climate got a lot hotter and drier. Australian soils are thick and millions of years old, so the remnant of iron oxide, which gives the soil its red colour, builds up after millions of years. This red dirt isn't very nutrient rich, which means things don't grow very well out here, but hey, it still looks really spectacular.
Did you know it actually takes some animals lots of energy to maintain their colour? While they don't need to spend lots of time and money at the shops buying clothes and shoes like we do, they do need to eat lots of food for all that extra energy and all those nutrients that they need on top of what they already need to survive. Colour on a male bird shows a female bird that he is healthy and therefore has good genes, which will make him a good dad. Did you know that when flamingos are first born, they're actually grey and they only find their colour when they start to eat prawns? And if they don't keep eating those prawns, they'll go back to being grey. Do you ever feel a bit grey wearing certain colours?
Welcome to the Colour Room, where I am going to get a scientific makeover by a colour stylist. Hi, Simi.
Hi, Jackie.
I am just tickled pink to be here. Can you tell me what you do as a colour stylist?
Yeah, so as a colour stylist, I help people learn to dress in the colours that suit them the best.
So what's the scientific part behind a scientific colour makeover?
So the scientific part of a colour makeover is that we experiment and we do a bit of trial and comparison to see what colours suit your skin tone, hair colour and eye colour.
Awesome. So what do you think of my outfit today?
Jackie, you do know that black is not a colour, right?
Nah.
So the colours are grouped into 4 seasons primarily. We have summer, spring, autumn and winter. And on this half we have the 2 cooler groups and on this side we have the 2 warmer groups.
So what does warm and cool colours mean?
So the colour wheel is divided into 2 halves. So on this side from the red through to the yellow we have what we call the warm colours. So the nice fiery twisty colours. And then on the other side from purple through to green we have the cool colours. So you think of water and cool ocean, those type of nice soothing colours.
So who suits what colour?
People with warm skin tone, people with the olive skin tone, for example, or darker skin tones, they might suit warmer colours. And people with cooler skin tones, those might be very pale, rosy pink type of skin tones, they would suit the cooler colours.
So how do we know when we pop on a t-shirt at home and we look in the mirror and know it definitely doesn't work?
Yep, so if something definitely does not suit you, you're gonna look and feel terrible in it. So for example, Jackie, I have to say that black top you're wearing today does make your complexion look a little bit pasty, like a ghost.
Okay, one second, here we go.
Oh, much better, there's the colour, lovely purple.
Nice. And now I forgot my next line. So Simi, I'm a TV stylist, which means I style rooms, but when it comes to me styling a human, I need all the help I can get. So can we get started?
Okay, sure, Jackie. I think you're cool, but let's test and just make sure.
Okay.
So here we have a cool silver. We're just going to hold that up under your chin and see how your complexion reacts to that colour. And we can see it looks quite clear and smooth. And we'll just quickly put this gold on top, and gold is a warm colour. And again, with the gold, your complexion turned a little bit warmer, which is quite nice as well. But I do think maybe somewhere in between would look better. This is a half gold, half silver. And that looks a lot smoother on Jackie's skin. So her complexion has smoothed quite nicely, and it looks very fine and lovely. So Jackie, I think this means you're actually quite unique. Your colouring is cool, but you also seem to have a bit of warmth to you as well, which means you can wear quite a wide range of colours as long as they are on the cooler side, but with a bit of warmth to them as well.
Great! I always knew I was cool. So what colours can I wear then?
Yeah, for you, Jackie, I'd suggest an example would be these type of colours. These are examples of some cooler colours compared to these ones. So they're warmer, so they're not recommended for you. But for your skin tone, the top row with the cooler colours will look lovely on you.
Well, I'm feeling $1 million in my cool colours. Simi, you really blew me away. Oh no, I'm going red.
I'm glad you enjoyed your scientific makeover today, Jackie. And the good news is you can wear those colours for the rest of your life.
Oh, thank you. Is it time for a catwalk?
I think so.
Get Clever, I set up an experiment to see if wearing a black t-shirt makes me feel hotter on a sunny day. Let's see if it worked. Okay, let's see what this summer's hottest colour is. Is it white? Wow, it's 24 degrees under the white t-shirt. Green is 26 degrees. Red is 26 degrees. Wow. And yellow is also 26. So what we know about light when it hits an object, it either gets absorbed, reflected, or transmitted. And what's happened here, when the lights hit the white of the shirt, all the colours of the rainbow have been reflected. And that's why the shirt's colourless or white. So each of our t-shirts are the colour that they are because they're actually reflecting the colour that we can see. For example, the green t-shirt is absorbing all of the yellow, orange, red and blue light and reflecting green light back into our eyes. Now it's time to check out our last t-shirt, the black one, and see if my theory was right. Wow, it's 28 degrees. Wow, that's a lot hotter than the others. But that doesn't explain why the black t-shirt is the hottest. It's because when light energy is absorbed, it's converted into heat. So when the light is touching and hitting the black t-shirt, it's all getting absorbed, all the different colours, and the black t-shirt is heating up the most. So there we have it. Black is this summer's hottest colour. So always make sure you check out the window to see what the weather's like before you get dressed. We don't want you getting hot under the collar.
We've talked about colours in the wild, a lack of colour, and working hard for your colour. But what about those who change their colour? I'm talking about camouflage. Camouflage means that you change your shape or your colour to be disguised. Although not many animals can actually change their colour, apart from a gecko, who can change his colour to blend in with a rock that he might be sitting on. Everyone immediately thinks of chameleons, but it's not for hide-and-seek purposes. Their colour changes when their emotional temperature change. Their usual colour of green is enough to hide them in their leafy habitat. In fact, a lot of animals' colours are close to their habitat colour, as this protects them from danger. While most animals hide to survive, what happens when you can't help but stand out from the crowd?
This is Leo, and he's not your typical echidna. He has a genetic condition called albinism, which makes him an albino. His lack of pigment kind of makes him look a little fluffy, but I can assure you, he isn't. Albinism is a genetic condition in which a person, animal, or even plant has no pigment or colour in their hair, skin, and eyes. Albinos have a disrupted production of melanin, the material or the pigment that gives us the colour in our hair or eyes, things that makes our hair brown or our eyes green or blue. Leo lives here at Symbio Wildlife Park and his keeper is Tammy. Now Tammy, what is Leo eating?
At the moment, he's eating a little bit of like an insect kind of mix, topped up with some fly pupae.
Delicious. Does Leo need any extra care other than the other echidnas here at Symbio?
Not too much. I think the only real problem would be too much time in the sun, but our exhibit's sort of built so there is a lot of shaded areas.
Tammy, are there many albino echidnas in the wild?
It is extremely rare. It's about a 1 in 17,000 chance.
So Leo here is pretty special then?
He is very special. I think it's his personality that goes along with it that makes him more unique.
As you can see, Leo has white fur and quills, but he also has red eyes and a pink snout, which is indicative of albino animals. Leo isn't the only animal here at Symbio Wildlife Park with lack of pigment. Meet Jester. Jester is a laughing kookaburra, but she doesn't look like a typical kookaburra either. She's missing the brown and the black on her back and wings and the stripes on her tail. Tammy, how did Jester come to Symbio?
Jester was actually handed into a wildlife carer and they cared for him from a few days old. Unfortunately, he's deemed unfit to be released back into the wild.
Jester isn't an albino. She has leucism. In leucism, some or all of the pigment cells fail to develop, which can leave the animal with spotty coloration or faint marks, which is different to albinism, where there is just no pigment at all.
Yeah, so she's classified as leucistic, and you can sort of see in those beautiful eyes of hers especially, that she still has that little bit of blue colouring.
Right, so it's different from Leo because Leo's eyes were all pink and red, so she's got a little bit of colour still.
Yeah, so she still has a little bit of colour, but overall you can still sort of see that she's mainly white.
Lighter plumage may rob the birds of their protective camouflage and make them more vulnerable to predation by feral cats and hawks. These animals are really special and are really well looked after here. Tammy, these guys are called laughing kookaburras. Do we have to tell bad jokes to get her to laugh?
I think so.
Okay, Jester, why did the koala climb down the tree? Because he had to leave.